One of the greatest films ever made, and going out on a limb if I had to choose, the single greatest Western ever made. 1993, this is Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, and a horde of others. Tombstone. In so many ways, Tombstone is the quintessential American Western story. That's about life on the frontier, civilization moving west, the economic boom that comes in the city of Tombstone, the struggle towards law and order as civilization is a little bit lagging behind where the financial booms and where the new settlement is. The organized crime of the cowboys, the legendary Wyatt Earp, of all the legends that come out of the Old West, Wyatt Earp being this lasting legend who lived long enough to be an advisor on movies about his life in early Hollywood. He really bridges the gap for us from the real history to the legendary status. Movies about his life struggle to depict the historical details or to give things in a way that seem consistent with the actual historical record. This film in 1993 does an amazing job of giving it to us. Now, that being said, no movie is perfect when it comes to historical rendering. There's still people out there that would argue that coming back with federal badges made the Earps and their allies the major big government bully that was imposing its will on the frontier and free people. There's still argument going on about that. And there is the entire court case that followed, the gunfight at the OK Corral, that is really left out. It's omitted completely from this film version of the story. We get a more basic revenge tale, but at the same time, we get all of the nuances of westward settlement, the expansion of civilization, the lagging behind of law and order, the personal relationships of the family members, the friends, the people in the town. I mean, not enough can possibly be said about how no moment of this film is wasted. The scenery, the cinematography, everything ties into the story and serves a purpose to the story, frequently panning out, seeing things happen at multiple levels within the bar, with people at the bar drinking, but things happening at the gambling tables. All of this none of this ends up being filler. All of it is so relevant, and all of it does a great job of depicting artistically the different parts of this life and how they overlap and how they connect. Even the true story of Doc Holliday's struggle with tuberculosis, his eventual death. I don't know if enough could ever be said about Val Kilmer in this role. Of the things that I had seen him in prior to 93, he's not somebody that I would have said, oh yeah, he'd be a brilliant actor in this. But wow, does he ever hit it out of the park. In fact, everybody does. The casting in this film, I would not have picked Kurt Russell. He wouldn't have been my first choice based on things like Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, and yet it works. Sam Elliott comes to every role with this basic cowboy persona, no matter what he's doing, and he has this gravitas that would have made him a good Wyatt Earp in certain parts of Wyatt Earp's life, but ultimately he's perfect in this as Virgil. Everything works out in this way that the appearances of even the slew of other people that come and go. When you have, I had to look it up, I blanked. When you have Jason Priestley, when you have Billy Zane, when you have Charlton Heston, when you have Billy Bob Thornton that I didn't even recognize. After watching this so many times over the years, he was younger and chubbier then. Just incredible, just the sheer weight of the number of people in it, people that you didn't expect or did expect to do fabulous jobs. It's all over the spectrum, and yet all of it comes together in this completely remarkable way to give you a film that in every single scene is important, every single scene is quotable, everything is relevant, and it does at the same time give you the historically accurate details, enough of them, and gives you the legend, enough of it, and to be able to tie in without going all the way back to Dodge City, tying in Wyatt Earp appearing at the beginning of the film as a man with this past trying to escape it, bringing out the details that far from being an infamous gunfighter, he'd only been in one real shootout prior to this. They bring this up in the film, giving us all the historical setting, the details, giving us the setting of his life, and giving us all of the legend, and winding up with the narration telling us about what happens when they live happily ever after, all the way up until his funeral. This is really just an epic snippet of the main legend of Wyatt Earp and his life put into film in this way that there's just not enough words to say how awesomely it is delivered and how it comes out. And doing it within a consistent narration that weaves it together from the beginning to the end, with the very beginning, with the quoting of the Bible from Revelation when they're murdering some police officers in Mexico, the cowboys are, the coming back of that when finally Ringo shoots it out with Doc Holliday, something I only caught in a recent viewing, the mistranslation of the pale horse as a sick horse, and how that prophecy comes to pass that Doc Holliday is very near death when he takes out Ringo. Amazing narrative, amazing history, amazing cinematography, amazing writing, the script, everything about it. I think it's a film that I could watch 1,000 times and not get bored with. You can just look online and find the multitude of memes and GIFs that are made because of this film, the lasting impact that it has. It ends up being quintessentially, it covers the bases of all the things that are significant about the Western genre as a uniquely Americana bit of art and history and folklore and legend and realism and violence and truth and everything wrapped up in it in this neat ball that makes this incredible film from the very beginning until the rolling of the final credits with the three brothers and Doc Holliday walking across your screen. It is art, it is poetry, it is a great painting put into motion. It's all of this stuff. I love it. Watch it, love it, enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Tombstone.